Every missile site, trench line, and armored column have one thing in common. They exist somewhere. And the moment something exists somewhere, it can be found. That's the heart of geospatial intelligence, otherwise known as GEOINT. Today, we're breaking down what GEOINT actually is, why it's one of the most powerful intelligence disciplines in the world, and how analysts use it to understand the physical shape of global power. So what is GEOINT? GEOINT stands for Geospatial Intelligence. Intelligence derived from pictures, maps, terrain, physical structures, and anything on Earth that has a location. Most people think of satellites taking high-resolution images, and yes, imagery is a huge part of it. But GEOINT is much more than pictures from space. GEOINT is about understanding what something is, where it is, how it's positioned, how it has changed over time, and how the surrounding terrain shapes what it can or can't do. There are three primary subdisciplines of GEOINT. The first is IMINT, Imagery Intelligence. This includes satellite photos, drone footage, and aerial imagery. It's the visual layer. The second is geospatial analysis, mapping, terrain modeling, elevation, distance, line of sight, or choke points. The spatial layer. The third is target development, identifying, locating, characterizing, and tracking physical objects, facilities, and systems. This is the mission layer. Together, these reveal a truth at the core of GEOINT. If it exists in physical space, GEOINT can analyze it. Let's clear up the misconceptions. GEOINT is not just zooming in on satellite photos. It's not Google Earth with better resolution. And no, analysts can't say enhance and magically sharpen a blurry image. Physics is not impressed by Hollywood. GEOINT is also not perfect. Clouds block satellites. Weather ruins imagery. Foliage hides vehicles. Shadows distort features. And adversaries deliberately conceal or disguise objects. And GEOINT doesn't tell you why something exists, only that it does. You can photograph a missile on a launch pad, but that image won't tell you if it's a drill, if it's a test, if it's operational, or if it's a bluff. A picture shows reality. Interpretation requires more than pixels. So who actually does GEOINT? In the United States, the backbone of GEOINT is the NGA, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. If CIA is human and NSA is SIGINT, NGA is the third pillar, the eyes of the intelligence community. And NGA doesn't work alone. The NRO, the National Reconnaissance Office, builds and operates the satellites. The Air Force and Space Force collect the imagery. The combatant commands use GEOINT for operations. Five Eyes partners share collection and analysis. And drones, aircraft, and technical teams provide lower altitude imagery. GEOINT isn't a single satellite. It's an entire workflow: collection, processing, exploitation, and analysis. It's the raw picture to intelligence insight pipeline. GEOINT has three unique advantages that no other intelligence discipline can match. GEOINT shows physical truth. Pictures don't care about narratives. If a country builds a missile silo, GEOINT will eventually see it. If troops stage along a border, GEOINT sees the tents, the vehicles, and the tracks in the dirt. You cannot negotiate with imagery. It is what it is. GEOINT gives scale and context. A tank isn't just a tank. Its distance from roads, its elevation, its fuel points, other units in the area, and obstacles are all revealed by GEOINT. Terrain shapes how armies move, where they can fight, where they're vulnerable, and how far they can project power. GEOINT turns a single object into a situation. GEOINT builds timelines. One image is data. A sequence of images is a story. Construction appears, expands, and completes. Aircraft move in and out. Trenches elongate, forces disperse or concentrate, and facilities activate or go silent. GEOINT shows change over time, and change is often the earliest indicator of intent. A missile base under construction? Concerning. A missile base suddenly empty? Even more concerning. GEOINT is powerful, but not invincible. It only sees what's exposed. Adversaries deliberately deceive imagery. They use inflatable tanks, fake missile canisters, dummy rounds, painted roads, underground tunnels, and decoy airfields to deceive GEOINT. The image is real. The objects may not be. GEOINT collects more imagery than humans can analyze. The volume is staggering. Machine learning helps, but the human analyst is still required for real interpretation, because imagery has nuance machines can't fully grasp. So how do analysts actually use GEOINT? This is where GEOINT becomes intelligence, not just pictures. The first step is to start with what the image shows. What's physically visible? What features matter? What shouldn't be there? Analysts look at size, shape, shadows, disturbances in terrain, heat signatures, and movement patterns. Nothing is random. The second step is to compare with historical imagery. Has a structure expanded? Did vehicles arrive or disappear? Has a pattern changed? When did construction begin? GEOINT thrives on timelines. The third step is to map relationships. Where is the object relative to supply routes, command centers, borders, terrain choke points, defensive positions, or infrastructure? Geography defines opportunity. The fourth step is to fuse with other intelligence types. SIGINT detects radar activation, GEOINT checks the site. HUMINT reports a secret facility, GEOINT finds it. OSINT shows battle footage, GEOINT geolocates it. MASINT detects a launch, GEOINT identifies the pad. GEOINT rarely answers questions alone, but it makes every other discipline sharper. The fifth step and final step is to build the assessment. Analysts synthesize everything. Order of battle, construction timelines, posture changes, mobility, logistics, and terrain advantages. The final product is more than imagery, it's insight. The modern world is transparent in ways previous generations could never imagine. Commercial satellites give near-daily imagery. OSINT communities analyze conflicts in real time, and disinformation collapses when confronted with physical reality. From tracking Russian troop movement to monitoring missile development in North Korea, GEOINT shapes global understanding. And in an age where nations try to manipulate narratives, imagery is one of the few things that still cuts through the noise. You can argue with statements. You can argue with politics, but it's hard to argue with what's physically on the ground. Every conflict leaves a mark on the earth. GEOINT is the discipline that reads those marks. This is the Analyst Notebook. More coming soon.